In the last video we killed Sonic Youth and created the Tiga Chip. This next part of this guide is to show you the best way to deal with the remaining bosses using the Tiga Chip in order to get the Tiga Chip. Because once you get both, the farming will be the easiest thing to do. The only thing you need to take into consideration from now and until you get the Tiga Chip is the right moment to recharge your battery. For the Tiga Chip you need 2 units of Utopiland Blueprint and a unit of a Nova Rocket Fragment, both of those from Damon. You need Kimmy's Recorder from Kimmy Love, a Grape Juice from Sonic Youth that you must already have, a Cross Sword from Henry, and a Mark of a Goddamn Superhero from Fu. From now on, all the bosses can be defeated using only the Dead Glove for optimal results both in time and efficiency, with some exceptions. Ohma, Kimmy Love, Midori Midorikawa, Sonic Youth, and Fu. Fortunately, you don't need all of those to create a Tiga Chip. For the rest, the beam katana must be used only to deliver the final blow. Now that you have the Tiga Chip in your power, all you need to do is use Death Force and Death Rain until only one red bar remains. Then use Death Kick to approach if needed and kill. Since you won't be using the beam katana, I recommend using 2 Death Force Chip EX if you have them, because Death Force is the attack you'll be using the most. With that information in your mind, let's see the bosses we need to create the Tiga Chip. Here we are with Damon, and as you can see, I start the fight with Death Force, apply Death Rain, and continue doing Death Force over and over again. Have in mind that you must tilt the stick a little bit to the direction of the push. Maintain that tilt while mashing the button for Death Force. Remember to use Death Rain if available, and once he's ready to be killed, use Death Kick to approach if needed and perform the final slash. Repeat that until you get the Nova Rocket Fragment and 2 units of Utopiland Blueprints if needed. Now for Kimmy's Recorder. Start with a Death Kick that sometimes will send her to the right. Just follow her and use Death Slow to start a combo with Burst. Then do another Death Kick and use another Death Slow to finish this segment. She will then reappear in one of the 3 holes of the stage. Just use Death Force to lead her to one of the corners and use Death Kick to get as close as you can to avoid the fires and the lasers, and continue with Death Force until finished. Remember to tilt the stick forward to use Death Force quicker. Just maintain this position and repeat until you get the recorder. With your brother is the same strategy, more straightforward though. Start with Death Force, throw Death Rain and keep doing the Death Force, with the stick with a little tilt forward. For the barrage mode, everything should be fine since you must have the stick tilted and shouldn't have moved too much. Don't touch anything, just maintain the tilt and keep doing Death Force with Death Rain until finish. Repeat until you get the Cross Sword. Now is the turn for Fu, and unfortunately he's immune to Death Force, so equip the Tiga Chip EX again and enter the fight. You just need to avoid the very first attack and the rest is a piece of cake. To start, get close to him and he'll do one of 4 attacks. If he uses the hair missiles, block the 2 sets, then proceed. If he tries to grab you, just stay away from his range. If he uses the gold spikes, just avoid them by running to the side. And finally, if he tries to punch you, be sure to be close to make him attempt the last kick. Once the animation is over, start with your attack. In this example, he managed to perform 2 of those attacks. Then I started. The thing is doing a normal combo without the burst attack, and as soon as the animation ends, use dead kick followed by a grab, and then dead slow. And that's it. Now you have him stun locked forever. Use the combo we have been using the entire guide, the normal combo and the burst. Don't land the last burst attack and grab. Then use dead slow and repeat. You don't even need to use dead kick again. Since you're performing grabs, you don't need to worry about the battery either. Sometimes you will get a throw crazy mode. If that happens, stop whatever you're doing and perform the grabs. Then continue with the usual combo. And yes, that's all. If you get a Mustang mode, don't go overboard with it and count 5 to 6 bars of health to stop and perform the grab. If not, you put the entire run at risk. Repeat until you get the mark of a goddamn superhero. Now you have the power to create a Tiga Chip and start farming like crazy for any chip you want. Sometimes you'll need to use the katana, with Sonic Juice for example. In those moments, use the Tiga Chip. If you're going to use Death Force, equip the Death Force Chip EX and that's all. I will leave here all the bosses with the optimal way to kill them in order to farm efficiently. With Mr. Blackhole, use the Death Force strategy. Remember to tilt the stick a little bit forward. With Gold Joe, use the Death Force strategy again. Remember to tilt the stick a little bit forward. With Native Dancer, use the Death Force strategy with a little modification. Start by leading him to the corner and tilt the stick diagonally just a little bit to keep him in the corner while using the Death Glove. With Kimmy Love, we already know how to proceed. With Velvet Chair Girl, Ohma, change the Death Force Chip EX and use the Dyna Chips. Use the Death Rain at the beginning and run to the right to cast Death Slow. From that point onward, just use Death Slow when available and do your best normal combos. Like I said, Ohma doesn't count. With Midori Midorikawa, unfortunately, we can't use the Death Glove, so use the strategy we discussed earlier in the guide to stun lock her using the Legend Chip. With DestroyMan True Face, use the Death Force strategy. Remember to tilt the stick a little bit forward. Sonic Juice is the most annoying boss. Since he's immune to Death Force, the only thing you can do is use Death Slow most of the time while attacking with the katana. Sometimes he'll avoid the attacks by retreating if you fail to perform the Death Slow in time. But that's normal, just try to keep the Death Slow up. You need the Tiga Chip here and the Dyna Chip EX if available to maintain him stun locked until the fight is finished. If you have a full green mode, use it. With Henry Cooldown, use the Death Force strategy like we discussed. With Fu, you need to follow my advices to keep him stunned while performing grabs. And finally with Damon, use the strategy we discussed earlier. Then let's summarize what we did. We farmed Mr. Blackhole enough times to get 2 units of his unique drop. One of those to create the legend chip that allowed us to easily kill Midori Midorikawa to start farming for the junk needed to create the C chip. After getting rid of Midori and getting her unique drop, we killed DestroyMan, Trueface, Gold Joe and Native Dancer for their unique drops too. Then we proceeded to kill Sonic Juice enough times in order to get 2 units of his unique drop, one for the C chip and other for the Tiga Chip. After that, we used everything we have collected so far to create the C chip. With the C chip, we proceeded to farm Kimmy Love, Henry Cooldown, Fu and Damon to finally create the Tiga Chip. And with those 3 chips in our power, and thanks to the helpful strategies discussed in this guide for every single boss, you now have the power to farm until you get tired for all the chips you want. As a final gift, here's the complete list of all the junk you can get in the game. The common junk can be found in defense missions, designated matches and also boss battles. The uncommon junk is found in the same places. There are also some unique drops for some enemies as you can see here. The rare junk can be found in defense missions and with bosses. There are unique drops here too. And finally the super rare with defense missions, bosses and as a reward for finishing 3 volunteer missions. This list contains all the information you're going to need in order to farm for your specific drops. Also check the links in the description to find some guides that will prove helpful to you. You're welcome and see you around.